Now let's go to the game of chess, which concerns you specifically because you are the vice president of the Chess Players Association in Nigeria. Now, people do not, we get to talk so much about football, and recently basketball is beginning to make it to the limelight as well. But chess looks like something that most people have forgotten in the country. It doesn't look like it's a growing sport. Yes, it's growing, but not everyone knows about it. And I know there's a lot of grassroots tournament that goes on in the world of chess. Can you give us an update on what's happening in chess and how Nigeria performed at the African Games?
Yeah, Doka, chess is very natural to me, like oxygen. You know, I've been in the chess scene for over 10 years now, and I can see, you know, the significant improvement and awareness, you know, at both grassroots level and at the top level. Nigeria has been consistent in performing in chess Olympiads and events, you know, but like I said, not being different from other sports. There's also issues with administration, you know, not getting it right. And also the enabling environment, which also boils down to government. Going by the All-African Games, I wouldn't say it was quite disappointing. You know, the team came out overall fourth, you know, but then there were some, you know, very important moments that we lost, maybe because of experience or the same issues we were talking about. Like the game with Torise, you know, forming, she's rated 1800 FIDE, you know, WIM. You know, she performed very well. One of us, she actually surprised, you know, most of us are here because we were thinking with the level of expertise from the Egyptians and all that, you know, there'll be a total crowd. But she came up tops and pulled a couple of very surprising wins and remained afloat until the very last game, which she lost and eventually lost out on the bronze. And the bronze and all that. If she had won that game, it would have been a gold. The draw would have given her a silver. But it is what it is. I think we have to come back to the drawing table and do that. For the Nigeria actually came out fourth for individual rapids for male and female. Torisha came out fourth, and Nigeria's Abimbolo Osunfuyi, a FIDE master, also did well in coming out fourth. But I think you can say they did well, but there's room to do more. They're talking about chess awareness and the nature of the sport. You know, chess is a board game, actually. A lot of people are drawn to very physical, you know, art boards and, you know, like football and athletics. But for chess, it's quite different because it's an intellectual and very quiet board game. But albeit a bit violent, because violent in terms of is an intellectual and, you know, there's a lot of distortions going on, how to outwit your opponent. So it's a very, very critical sport that also could be traced to, you know, the human capacity development. You know, if I play in a game of chess, I'm trying hard to outwit your intellect. You understand? Over principles on the game. So I need to come up smarter, okay, to be able to get a win. So it's very crucial, and a lot of guys are doing so much, you know, in developing the chess at grassroots level. There are models for chess in schools. Players are able to turn that as a means of livelihood, to teach kids in schools, primary schools and secondary schools alike, to be able to generate some fun, to better their lives, and also impact in the life of these kids. You know, give them a direction on how to think, you know, purposefully, deliberately. You know, and that also affects the overall growth, you know, of the being. When you begin to learn how to think strategically at a very young age, it has a domino effect on the society, rather. So I think if government can look at chess as a very important human capacity development sport, the landscape will begin to change. You know, and now with the advent of artificial intelligence, AIs and all that technology, we are seeing a lot of changes. You know, kids now have access to information, you know, to global games from world masters and all that, grandmasters and all that. So a kid at 10 can access a notepad, a laptop, information, and see annotated games from, let's say, Gary Kasparov, former world champion, or Magnus Carlsen, and begin to see a particular line that suits their type of play. Then for you, there's a veteran that has been playing it for some time, that wasn't privy to this information. Now you are at par with these kids. Look at this, you look at the same database as these kids. So it's very difficult for you to outwit them. Going there, you have a lot of responsibilities. You have family, you have a lot of that to do. But these kids have nothing. So they come very smart. You're seeing surprises in tournaments where kids like 10 years old will beat, you know, a very notable chess player. Champion, So it's beginning to come into line. So what I think we need to do in order to also, you know, create this awareness, we need to embrace this technology and see how to, you know, turn it to our favor. You know, also, you know, set up very supportive programs for both chess in schools, you know, and also create that awareness and bring incentives rather. You know, chess is not like football, so there's very little publicity. So if governments or authorities or interested parties, you know, stakeholders will come in and say, okay, you know what, let's create something out of this, because overall it affects, you know, our mental, you know, harness and as in development and all that. If kids at that age can begin to learn how to think rightly, there'll be a lot of energy diverted towards national development. So we need to look at all that. I'll give you an example. In Russia, there's a compulsory chess program.
Wow.
For every child. There are cases where former female strongest player, and she's retired now, Judith Polgar, you know, she never went to a formal, you know, school. They were self-tutored in the house, and chess was the core of was the center of what they learned, with other, of course, subjects and other. But she's the strongest chess player ever. So I think it's something that we could really work on and, you know, impact in the lives of our young ones.
Very true, and I'll keep talking about grassroots. If you can bring them up from the grassroots level, then I'm sure we'll have world beaters, especially in the world of chess. And board games, generally, most people think it's a boring one. I used to think chess was quite boring, but when you look at the tactics and how you get to play the games, you understand that it's a very, very intellectual and a tactical game that you must be sane enough to play that game. The other board games like Scrabble, Monopoly, and the like. So I just hope that someday Nigeria will become world beaters and will become probably the best in the world of chess.